Hello everyone, welcome to the Pharmacy and Medical Museum of Texas here in Cuero, Texas. Today we're going to look at a few old devices, artifacts, and tools that are located here. They're pretty interesting. The first one we're going to look at is a bloodletting device known as a scarificator. Something like this could have been used on George Washington. Maybe it was just a knife that was used on him, but in this case this is a 12-blade scarificator. And it is used for bleeding you. They used to believe that your blood is poisoned, or if you're sick, it's because you've got too much blood, or your blood is poisoned. And this device is worth about $300 now. It's pretty heavy, made of cast iron. You can see the 12 blades on the left side, and on the back side is the cocking mechanism. And that's that lever. The center round piece is actually used to lengthen or decrease the amount of blade that's going to go into you. And then the trigger is actually on top. And at age 67, George Washington was sick and called his doctors in, called 3 of them in. They decided to bleed him. He would lose 40% of his blood. Died in about 14 to 16 hours later, but really because of suffocation. He didn't necessarily die because of bleeding. The bleeding didn't help at all, of course. But he had some blockage in his throat, blisters forming. They've had different diagnoses for that, but this is how he died. Now we're going to take a look at some quackery. In this case, a motor, electric-driven device with screw-on attachments. This one's already in place. Was used to cure things like menopause, gout, depression, baldness, headaches, nosebleeds, toothaches. All you have to do is start hitting your tooth with forms of vibration, and it will cure your aches and pains. Of course, it never worked. Another form of quackery was the electric mechanical heart. It catered to women in particular. However, from 1919 to 1944, guys would buy this, and just by putting in 2D batteries, you would electrocute your head trying to regrow hair. And you could increase the dosage of electricity that you're shocking yourself with. It included a sponge. You could wet that and then help increase the dosage. And it really never worked, but again, it was used for all sorts of ridiculous things like mending broken bones. It promised to do that from 1919 to 1944. People were using it for that. Regrowing your hair. It never really did any of that stuff. There's ridiculous things like tonsillitis, liver problems, thin lips. It's pretty ridiculous. Here we have a prescription from 1924 when a patient went up the stairs in this old drugstore to see the doctor, and the doctor prescribed Lysol. So the patient came downstairs and purchased at least 1 bottle of Lysol. And the directions on this prescription from 1924 says that the patient needs to take a teaspoonful basically every night and morning until you finish the bottle. What his ailments were, we don't know. That's never recorded on prescriptions. But there was a time when Lysol was used internally. Ketchup was a medicine. Turpentine was a medicine. Creosote, things like that. Okay, well, as you know, farming, ranching, oil and gas is all involved in medicine. And what you're seeing here are just a few things that are made from animal parts over the years. Maybe pig related, sheep, cattle, goats, ovarian substances, hormonal therapy, thyroid issues. There's a liver extract up there from some animal. Pepsins are enzymes in the stomach of the livestock, and it helps with digestion. So these are all useful things from the past that are actually from animals, and today you may be using synthetic versions that have been made in the lab, but they still use some animal parts too. And that right there is a postcard from 1934. It's off the King Ranch in Kingsville, Texas. This is a cow that's still young, but she's 15 feet long. She stands 7 foot 10 inches tall, weighs 2,800 pounds at this time. And it says there's a $500 reward for anybody in the world who can identify a larger cow than this lady named Lone Star.